By now, you've probably seen this thing. Sure, the tape might make you think that it's a tape measure, but it's not. It's no more a tape measure than a pickup truck is a wagon. Sure, they both hold things and roll on wheels, but you can do so much more with a truck. And we created trucks because we have so much more to do. And if a tape measure is this wagon, then this is your first pickup truck. Oh, and there's only about 100 left. Let's go. This is the Recon T1 Tomahawk digital tape measure, and yes, they call it a tape measure, but that's really underselling it. The guys at Recon, better known for their innovative M1 caliber augmented digital miter saw measuring tool, decided that after they improved on the miter saw, the next target of their creative engineering would be this tape measure. But instead of looking at a tape measure and asking themselves, how can we make this better? They looked at the job and asked, how can we do this faster? And the result is a tape measure unlike anything we've seen before. The first thing you'll notice is, well, its size. Yes, it's big, but don't let that keep you away. A pickup truck's bigger than a wagon, but again, it can do a lot more. It's bigger to make room for features a tape measure has never seen before. The first thing they did was make it easier to read and as accurate as possible. So they added this live view OLED screen that shows measurement at the top in both English and metric units. But the display isn't the biggest news. No, this one is. This is an e-paper display that allows you to instantly track your measurements. If you're not familiar with e-paper, it's a display technology that requires almost zero power to maintain a static image. That way, you can mark your measurements and leave them there for days without draining a battery. Now, there's already room for 5 on the display, but the tool can actually store pages of measurements, and by connecting it to their app, you can store even more. And because the system's digital, it has some really ingenious features like incremental measurements, center measurements, and internal measurements, all at the click of a button. It also has a clever green line projection that can be used to correlate measurements to adjacent surfaces, edges, or corners. But the most interesting use for me was targeting. Essentially, I measure my target space, add it to my list, and then when I get back to my material, I choose the measurement, and when I reach it, the laser comes out so I can easily mark it and make my cut. There's even an add-on pencil or pen holder mount on either side, which automatically aligns to the tape. So after you reach your mark on your material, you simply press down and draw a line in the exact position. The crazy part is that as the team comes up with new ways to use this amazing tool, they can simply launch an update remotely and your T1 gets new features for free. And the new Rock app will no doubt be a game changer for many professionals. Not only does it store your measurements, but it includes several useful layout and calculation functions. It'll also sync up with your job site buddies so you can all share the measurements, designs, layouts, and more. It's even going to connect to the M1 caliber. You'll be able to quickly get your measurements and convert them to a cut list in no time. It's 2022. I can hardly believe we're still scratching numbers on scrap wood and doing complex fractional calculations in our heads. My dad's actually really good at that, but I'm not. Now, of course, you're adding another battery-powered tool to your workflow. Fortunately, this one is charged by USB-C, and it will last several days in between charges. The T1 isn't just full of features, it's also built for the dangers of the job site. It's rated for a 1-meter drop and uses 2 different sensors for error checking. Now, one of the most genius things about this tool is something you'll never notice. It's the way it makes sure it's always accurate. The back of their tapes contain these black lines that the tape measure can see. Literally, pulling out the tape essentially recalibrates the tool each time you do it. If you do damage the thing, the tape's easily replaceable, so you're not going to be throwing this thing away anytime soon. If you're going to spend this much on a tool, it better survive the job site and stay accurate, and that's something Recon is obviously taking seriously. Now, a few other stats you might be looking for would be the plus or minus 0.02 inch accuracy. It has a 25-foot tape length, 1.69 pounds, 15-hour battery life, and it's 2.2 inches by 3.8 inches by 6.7, and it's covered by a 1-year warranty. Now, the T1 is not going to change your workflow for the better. You'll do that. This is a pro tool for pros who can identify pain points in their own work and use this complex new tool to completely eliminate them. Quite frankly, I can't wait to see this thing launch and then watch pros on Facebook groups start sharing the amazing things that they're doing with it. So maybe you're convinced you can take this and make money with it, but how much will it cost you up front? Well, when it's available in January, it'll cost around $260. But if you pre-order on their Indiegogo page, you can get one for only $214. But as of the time of shooting this, there were only around 100 left. I'll include a link to the page in the description. Okay, so what do you guys think? Can you see the potential in this thing? It's obviously not going to pay off as big for everybody, but I want to know if it would make you more productive and therefore be worth the extra weight on your tool belt. Let me know in the comments exactly what you do for a living and how this might change your game for the better. Now, don't forget to join Sarah and I this and every Friday for the Power Tool Week in Review, and I'll see you then.